Hello guys, and welcome. Welcome to another replay analysis coming at you from another man, from the man himself named Plasmid, Mr. Plasmid over here. It's been a little bit of a while, I guess, that since we've last done one of these, and this game right here that we're looking at is a Plasmid. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a Diamond PvZ or a Zerg versus Protoss. And we're going to be talking about, basically, if you guys don't know how replay analysis work, the way it works is we're going to look at his gameplay, and we're going to talk about things that he could do better, things that he's already doing good. We're going to look at his build, tell him how he can optimize it more. Basically, just it's like a quick coaching lesson, more or less. That's how these work. So, yeah, let's jump into it. Let's see what's going on. Let's see how this is going, bro. Placements of everything so far is fine. Actually, just kidding. I'm never a fan of 16 hatch. Or sorry, I'm never a fan of 17 hatch in PvZ. I am definitely a fan of 16 hatch. Like, it's the amount of Protosses that play to be annoying is actually really high. So getting your hatchery down is always super important, and doing a 17 hatch is risky because you're banking on the fact that they're either not scouting you or they're gonna wait to scout you until after they build the gateway. If a probe scouts you, after he builds a pylon, he will block your hatchery if you go 17 hatch. Or if he pulls one of his first 12, he will easily block you. Like, that would be universally the way, though. But, yeah. Anyways, we don't know about this. We don't know. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. Because, we want to know from your vision. I like that you leave the second Overlord here. I like a lot that you leave the second Overlord here. That's important. I always talk about this. This is a great way to see proxies and stuff. Like Cannon Rush, for instance. Or like Zealots walking by, which that might actually become a thing now since we just saw those gateways. But for what you're doing so far is fine. No problems with it yet. What league is this? This is Diamond 1. Your mineral line is mostly good. You have 2 patches with 3, and you have 2 patches with 1. This patch has 1. This patch has 1. These 2 patches have 3. I would say always. I've talked about this before, but always, if you want to play as tryhard as you can, and you want to get the most out of what you have, always stack your close patches first, and then on top of that, put every patch on 2 per patch, 2 drones per patch. Otherwise, you're gonna have some inefficient mining that goes on throughout the entire game if you don't do that. And for people who don't know what a close patch is, this is an easy way to find out what it is. Patches with higher mineral counts are close patches. Close patches start with 1800. Far patches start with, what is it, 900? And it's just 900, right? Yeah. For some reason, I was like 950. No, it's 900. So close patches, 1800. Far patches, 900. And you can also double click a close patch in a replay, and it'll highlight close patches. Notice how all 4 close patches are selected. You can double click a far patch and it'll now only select the far patches because they're different patches. So, that's how you can tell what is what. The ones that are currently highlighted are always what you should be stacking. The ones that are currently highlighted are the ones you should be stacking. Those are the very important ones, but getting at least 2 per patch on every patch once you have 16 is also very important. I always talk about that every time. It's super important though. If you're trying to get the most out of what you have, it's very, very, very important. Okay. Now, not seeing a wall and not seeing a next. All right, did your Overlord stop? If it stopped, you need to never do that again. Yeah, it stopped. Okay, so this is crunch time. The second you see there's no wall and there's no nexus, you, for the love of God, need to scout further into his base right now. Because if this dude does not attack you with zealots right away, and he stockpiles, you're going to have no idea that's happening. And if you respond to that by making drones, you're going to die. You will die. So this Overlord needs to definitely not stop. It needs to go all the way to the ramp and figure out what the fuck is going on. Because if you did scout the ramp, and you saw, oh, pylon, This tells you two things. This tells you, okay, yeah, for sure it is this is a proxy. That's the first thing it tells you of some kind of proxy, and it also tells you it's not a cannon rush, because like it confirms that you're not being cannoned weirdly anywhere. This confirms it's gateway, like it 100% confirms it. Like for instance, for whatever reason, what if he missed a probe and he was cannoning here, or what if he was currently up until this overlord came out, what if he was cannoning on the low ground here and he was going to like run a probe up here and leapfrog it to the high ground? Random shit. People do random shit. What if he was cannon rushing over here with Stargates and he was going to do some fucking Void Ray thing? Who knows? There's weird builds people do. But you need to scout the front of his base. Or either that, or what if he's not proxying at all? And what if he has a gateway here? And what if he's actually playing standard, but he's just playing on like a one base weird ass all in? Where it's just like, it's not going to hit you right away, but it is going to hit you in a little bit. Like maybe in 2 minutes it'll hit you. Because it's not proxied, but it still is going to be one base all in. Like you have to scout and figure this out, because if you just play blind now, you have no idea what's going on. Yo, Jensen, thank you very much for the 6 months, dude. Dan, my man. Yo, thank you, dude. But now, even without scouting, undo his base. Because here's the final thing, too. Here's the final thing. If you scout his base, and you realize, oh, wow, all of his gateways are not at his base. They're proxied. And you scout this, you know what this tells you? That it's zealots only. If you scouted his gas, this would tell you, okay, it's just zealots. If you scout his gas and you see gas, that tells you, okay, there's going to be either like an adept follow-up, there's going to be a stalker follow-up, there's going to be some type of a gas follow-up, and there's going to be a cyber core. So that's important. That is important to know these things. So you definitely, this is, I can't tell you how fucking important this overlord is to just make sure you don't just leave it here. It needs to scout further in. Like you need to be paying attention to this shit as soon as you realize there's no natural there. You have to figure the fuck out like what it is. But this guy made it easy for you to figure out what it is, because he doesn't stockpile zealots. He just runs right to your base ASAP. So right here for you, when you see this, when you see zealots crossing like that, your immediate reaction should be this. You should, first of all, stop mining gas altogether. You should have stopped mining gas already. The fact that you're still mining it sucks ass. It's so expensive to mine gas like this. Getting Zergling speed already makes it harder to defend yourself properly against this kind of a build, because it's so draining on your early minerals. A lot of Zerg players don't really give it credit how much getting a gas and mining 100 gas early game drains your mineral income. So it's gonna have you're basically able to afford everything off of 2 bases right now, but you're not able to have a third started at this point in time yet, because now instead of taking your third, you have to make a choice. You can't do everything. You got to be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and like take a spine crawler. I'm gonna and you need more than one, by the way. You need like 3. I would say 3 spines is great against proxy gates, like when it's zealot all in. And to be fair, this should also be 4 gates, not 3 gates. But the way he built it was like he walled off his pylon. He should put like another gate right there though, or something. But that would also wall that out. He should put another gate like right there if he could, or like right there if he could. He needs a 4th gate. This dude needs a 4th gate. 3 gate all in is not nearly as scary as 4 gate all in. Because look at this. He's going to start having zealots queued up rather than all building at once. Anyways. Getting a speedling opener is fine. I'm not going to say you shouldn't get speedling openers, but you need to, like, automatically, you need to be pulling your fucking drones off gas as soon as you get speed, even before you see this. And I assume you might be the guy who leaves them on to get overlord speed. That might just be what you do, which is why you're just, by habit, leaving it on. But if that is what you're doing, if normally you do get overlord speed, you need to really pay attention to this. This is automatically, do not get overlord speed right away. This is, you're getting all in by something, and you need to not just invest into overlord speed. You need to invest into shit now rather than scouting for later, because you're not going to have a later if you die now. So this is definitely like, stop mining gas. Get Zergling speed and stop mining gas. That is what that means. And then secondly, seeing these zealots cross, like with your overlords here, This even furthermore confirms stop mining gas. You do not want gas right now. Stop mining that shit altogether. It's going to slow down massively your spine crawlers. And if you just leave these drones on gas, you're going to fuck yourself so bad. All right. Now. Your drone micro was not that bad. It was not great. It was not that bad though. You need to move your drones around more, especially the ones that are getting hit. Try your best to lose none. I think you just lost like 4 there. Yeah, you lost 4 drones. That's not great. Also, there was no reason for your lings to smack the zealots by themselves, which they did. Your lings died isolated. Watch your lings. So your lings ran by the zealots. That's fine. It's kind of how it goes. Sometimes you could have also waited till he ran up the ramp and then ran around him. But watch your lings. As you run your drones away, your lings engage, and your lings just die. You have 1 ling that didn't die yet, and now it's dead. So you were microing your drones a little bit, but it would have gone a lot better if you would have just avoided fighting him for a sec until your queen was out. Like, with your lings and your drones. Like, the way you could have done that could have been, basically, let me say it like this. Let me back it up again. To where he, like, walks into middle line. Imagine if you pulled all your drones right now. And look how much gas you have, by the way. This is like, again, I can't tell you how much this sucks. This needs to be mineral only. Because look at your larva, too. You have 3 larvae sitting there that you haven't. You could spend 2 out of 3 right now, but you also need to be making lings faster, and you can't even afford all your spines. This gas is fucking you so bad. Really is. It really, really, really is. Now, if your lings were chilling for a sec and they ran back a little bit, and your drones just did something like they mined into these patches right here. You mined this. First, you could take all your drones and mine this patch on the side, so no drones are on the outside. Every drone would come down towards this patch. And after you right-click this patch and all the drones are like here where the green box is or closer to the patch, you could then right-click this patch in the center. And you could stack all of your drones right here. All of your drones could be stacked. And that's how you could just save your drones. And if he chooses to engage it, you could drone drill his zealots. If he chooses not to fight that, instead he chooses to go for the spine crawler, you could then smack him in the back as he starts smacking your spine crawler, and as soon as he starts smacking your units, you can just run away again for a second. Just right-click into the patch again and run away. And then keep doing this. And even if your spine dies, if he sacrifices zealots to kill that spine, that's not bad for you. But your queen is so close to coming out, and you want to fight this with your queen, because at best case scenario for you, your queen gets the attention of the zealots, and you just start kiting with the queen. In a circle, and you spread the zealots out, and it makes it really easy to win, and it also buys your time for spines to finish. And like I said before, there should also be more than 1 spine started here, which again, this gas is fucking you on. Like, this gas is so bad. This gas is the worst thing that I'm seeing this whole game so far. Like, very, 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 very important. It's huge. It's huge. Notice how when you mineral walk through him for just a split second, the zealots ran towards the queen. But then as soon as you mineral walk through for a second, you re-engage with your drones again, and now the zealots re-aggro your drones because they're closer. You want him to chase your queen right now. You want him to chase the queen, because as soon as the spine crawler's done, he can't do shit in your mineral line. Like, he can't do anything. So you don't want to be engaging with drones, and the only time you ever should engage with drones is if you know there's no way a queen can aggro, and also you know there's no way the spine will finish. So then you have to save the spine with your drones to, like, get in front of it. But then that comes down to a point where you have to drone micro, like physically grab the drones that are dying and mineral walk out of there, and let the rest of your drones keep smacking their ass or some shit like that. Don't just have all drones selected and right-click a patch and auto-attack and right-click a patch and auto-attack and have every drone always move, because you're not going to save drones very well that way. You need to physically grab the drones that are dying. They get hit once, they get hit twice. You have 2 auto-attacks of time, which is 1.72 seconds. You have 1.72 seconds to grab a drone and save it before it's gonna get hit a third. Like, you know, then you have up to like 2.3 or so seconds, or 2.4 seconds, some shit like that. 2.5 somewhere. I'm not doing the math in my head right now. Fuck it. You have up until about roughly 2.5 seconds until your drone's gonna die after it first gets hit. So you need to grab the drone between the first and second auto attack of a zealot, because the third hit's gonna kill the drone. And if you just grab the drone that's getting hit and you right click a patch, that's gonna save your drone, because it loses aggro. Even if it's still in melee range of a zealot, it loses aggro of a zealot, and no fucking Protoss player ever is going to physically auto attack each one of his zealots on each one of your drones and physically tell it, A move that drone. He's just gonna A move the floor. That's all he's gonna do. That's all he's gonna do. He's gonna A move the ground, and then it's just gonna aggro whatever's it's gonna hit whatever's hostile to the zealot. So if you grab your drone between 1 and 2 auto attacks on the drone, you can literally save it and not let it die. And that, again, that should only be happening if you don't have access to a queen, wing, or spine yet, because for whatever reason you made drones and you were like, oh shit, I'm getting proxy-gated. Whoops. That's the only time that should happen, is if it was like a mistake on your part, and you just droned instead. And you want, again, you want 3 spines as well. 3 spines is huge. And you do not want to be injecting your hatcheries at all. Do not inject your bases. Especially when you mine gas. Do not inject your hatcheries. And do you know why? It's actually better to make more queens right now than to make an injected round of lings. And you will, I guarantee you, you will never be able to afford the injects right now if you're only making lings as well. You'll never be able to afford it. Because making queens, making spines, and making injected lings, you're always going to have larvae sitting on your hatcheries. And let's just, for really quickly, just for fun, let's time this by 8 and watch your larva. 6, 6, 3, 4, 7, 6, 2, 5. This should be 0 all the time. 8. Injecting is not the right go-to here. You'll never spend your larva injecting. And your hatchery even died, and you still have 8 larvae. You are still spending your larva, but you'll never be able to spend all of your larva. You never should be able to in this kind of a situation, ever. So we'll go back now. What should instead be happening is this queen right here on the low ground. The zealots are out of position, right? They're all in the main. They're all over here distracted in your main base. This queen 100% should be walking over here and putting a creep timber like right there, or right here, or right there, or right there. Anywhere in this top area. Right there. Because what you could do is you could put a creep timber down right here. Just one, like anywhere in this area, and it connects this space to this space with creep. It makes this a creep highway for your queens, so you don't ever have to get killed by zealots when you have to go from one location to the other. Like this little distance right there is really easy for the zealots to just to jump on your queens and kill them. They could easily kill your queens if you don't connect this. And then on top of that, your creep timber could then spread forward like this, all the way, 1 tumor at a time, to his gateways, because you know where the gateways are, because you see where what angle the zealots are coming from, even though you haven't physically seen the gate, or you have, sorry, you actually have seen the gateways. The angle of the zealots already tells you where they are. If the zealots were coming from here, if they were crossing this overlord and running this way, you'd be like, okay, gateways are probably down here. If the zealots were running this way, across your overlord this way, you'd be like, gateways are probably over here. If zealots are coming this way, you'd be like, gateways are probably up here somewhere. You know where they are because of the angle of the zealot, and you also even know where they are because you physically saw it. So spreading your overlord, or you're spreading your creep towards the gateways is nice, because it eventually allows you to leapfrog your spines, which is why I say 3 is really good. You can leapfrog spine, 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 all the way through your creep spread to his gateways, and once you get to the gateways, the game is over. The game is just over. It ends there. But having a queen here, spreading your creep towards your main is huge. You definitely want to have your creep spread because you can run queens in a circle. Because look at the movement speed of a queen. The movement speed of a queen is 2.48 or 2.49 rather. 2.49. And the movement speed of a zealot is 2.35. Or wait, just kidding. I did the math wrong. Oh my god. Okay, let's. God damn it. Just kidding. Yeah, it's 3.49 and a zealot's is 3.15. I did it wrong. I was like, wait, what am I doing? All right, fuck it, guys. I know the point I'm trying to make here is a queen is faster, okay? A queen is faster on creep than a zealot is. So you can kiting is something you can do. You can run away from a zealot all day as long as you have creep and you run in a circle because you're faster. So all queens should be doing right now is literally aggroing zealots and running in circles. Aggroing zealots and running in circles. And then meanwhile, you're making lings. And here's the best thing you can do, okay? This is like the best thing you can do. Rally point your hatcheries to like the front of your base. Queens aggro the zealots in your main base and you run in circles all day until your spines are done. Spines finish, zealots can't do anything about spines. They just die to spines at that point. And then all the reinforcing zealots, instead of letting your lings just die the way they did, they group up with new lings on top of that. And you eventually now, let's say you have like 14 lings here. And the 14 lings kill zealots that come in one at a time out of his gateways. They keep just overpowering zealot. And then another zealot comes and lings overpower another zealot. That's what you should be doing. And then don't ever let that happen. That was just negligence right there. You injected hatchery, which is bad, but then also you let the queen just sit there and sit there and sit there and then eventually got surrounded and died. You never, if that happens, that's a massive mistake on your part because your queen should never actually die unless the Protoss player is literally cutting your queen off repeatedly with like one zealot at a time and he has like 2 zealots chasing you or some shit. But again, at that point, you should still be okay if he plays that way because he's investing so many queens or so many zealots to try to kill your queen when your lings are going to be overwhelming his other zealots elsewhere. Queens are literally zealot distractors. They're like little zealot decoys is what they are. So letting them die is a massive mistake. To be honestly, anyone from my stream who is a Protoss player, if you're a Diamond League or roughly around Diamond League or above, or just that doesn't matter. If you're a Protoss player and you want to help me out, log in right now to Battle.net, and I want you to proxy gate me with either a 3-gate proxy like this was or a 4-gate proxy. Just zealot all in my ass, and I will not pre-react to it. I will react to it as I see it. Log in and fucking do this shit to me, and I will show you what I mean when I talk about the micro. We'll do that after this game is over. That'll be the second part of the analysis. If someone wants to help me out. Four spines is too many spines. 3 spines is perfect. Because again, you're not really spinning your larva properly. You need more lings. Like your larva needs to be spent better than this. Your larva usage is really bad. And now you're not mining, which really sucks too. At this point, you're fucked. And this, like, I'm not gonna say you're gonna lose because the game is obviously really long, but you're definitely not in a good spot now. This is this could be a lot better for you. But yeah, the opener for you definitely like this game wouldn't even be a game that you would want to be analyzing if the opener wasn't this bad for you. The people who just logged in as well, who are willing to help me out with the proxy, you guys are gonna have to bear with me though for a little bit. I'm gonna watch more of this replay. Or you know what? Fuck it. I'll come back to this replay right after. We'll just times 8 it back to like 6 minutes. I want to show you guys because we just talked a lot about Zealot proxy. I really want to. There we go. We got a GM who's gonna do it. This is a GM Zealot proxy. Let's fucking do this. Let's fucking do this. So this is kind of how you want it to go. You don't want your defense in this situation to be like wasteful. You don't want to be wasting minerals. Where like you want to maintain minerals wherever you can. And again, I know he's proxying because I told him to do it, but I'm not gonna blind counter it. I'm not gonna do shit that's like, see, so make spines before you even know it's happening. I'm not gonna do that shit. I'm gonna react to it as I see it. I'm gonna scout it and react to it wherever the fuck he's gonna put it. I don't know where he's putting it, but we'll see. 7 spines? No. Negative. 7 spines is fucking excessive. You make 3. Three, boys. 3 is all you need.
Oh, yeah.
Wildcard, thank you very much for the 38 months. Tier 2, my man. My dude. My wildcard. Wildcard, much love, man. You're still summing up. You're like, I don't hate you vibe from those latter games. Still love you. Wildcard, thank you very much. It's a fat sub. Appreciate you, dude. One spine per zealot, you say? No. Hi, Probe. Hello. How are you doing? How are you doing? Okay, let's now take a moment to stack my mineral patches. This one has 3. This one has 1. The other ones all have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 everywhere. Everyone has. Oh, just kidding. This one has 1. This one has 3. Now they're all 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Cool. Oh, zealots, and I just made drones too as well, so we can be like this. Throw a couple spines down. Throw a spine down. Stop mining gas. Stop mining gas. We'll have to cancel that one. We'll have to cancel that one too because he's got on top of it right away. Keep making zerglings. Cancel that spine again. Again, this is a fucking GM game here, so micro is a little bit more intensive here. But killing zealots when they're isolated is what you want to go for, not the other way around. You don't want to be fighting zealots when they're like when they have the advantage. And now we have a spine. And now we want to put a creep tumor down. We can run past the zealots, because I know what angle they're coming from. They're coming from the south end somewhere. Okay, well this is falling apart now. A little bit. I kind of fucked that up a little bit. We're okay though.
Swarm forces under attack.
So he dove right for my, he dove pretty fucking hard for my spines, right? Made it harder to defend. It did make it harder to defend because he just beelined the spines. But as he's killing my spines, did he do it right? Yeah, he did it fine. I don't think that Proxy 4-Gate is a build that is like, it's going to win if you do it right. I think a Proxy 4-Gate is up to the Zerg. If they defend it right, you're going to lose as Protoss. Like, I don't think you can do a Proxy 4-Gate good enough to just win if you're, like, insane. Like, it comes down to how well the Zerg handles it rather than how well the Protoss executes it. Obviously, execution is important. But it really, the game is in the Zerg's hands here. It's not really in the Protoss's hands. I don't like that build. I don't like that build either. I don't think Proxy 4-Gate is very good. I think Proxy 4-Gate is usually, like, your win rate against Proxy 4-Gate should be high. If you know what you're doing. Because even though he continuously fucked my spines over, he did not, however, fuck over my economy as much as he could have. Because he's busy dealing with the spines. He has to pick and choose, right? Like, if he goes for option A, I still have options B and C. If he goes for option B, I still have options A and C. If he goes for option C, I have options A and B. If he goes for spines, I can still mine minerals and make everything mineral-based. If he goes for my drones, I can just run around and wait for my spines to finish. If he goes for my fucking, like, continuously tries to, like, kill my queens, I can just run my queens around. Like, I have all these multiple options that I can work with here, that I can do shit with. And if whatever he chooses, I try to react to that. So if he chooses my spines, which is what he chose this game, to repeatedly just kill them, I don't cancel them immediately. I also don't let them die. I wait until he beats the shit out of them a little bit, until they get low. And then I cancel them and move them elsewhere. And while he's killing the spines, I'm killing his zealots. So not yet, because I don't have any lings yet, because he's here in my base really fast. Because again, like I said before, I made drones as a reaction to this. I did not want to hard counter it. I made drones just before I saw this zealot. This is just before I would have known it was happening. I made drones again. And then I was like, oh shit, he's proxy gating me. He's got zealots in my base. So now we start making lings. So, you know, I didn't again, I just want to make sure you guys know we're not hard countering this. This is like a legit reaction. And now that we don't, because I made drones and I did not make lings in excessive amounts, it's scary. And I don't have spines started, so it's going to be really hard to guard my spines if he chooses to go for my spines. So I build my spines now because I know he's doing this. I know zealots are walking in my base at this point. He sees it with the probe. He knows where they are, so he immediately comes for them. And I'm not going to pull my drones here. Because of just, my drones can still mine effectively. I didn't build it in the mineral line, I built it behind the mineral line. It's really a judgment call if you want to pull your drones here to kill the zealots, but it's fucking scary if you do. You have to really be careful about not losing your drones here. We pulled a little bit for a second. We're like, fuck it. But what's happening now is my queens are grouping up. Again, I'm not injecting. My queens are grouping up, and my lings are starting to group up a bit more, and we're starting to build spines elsewhere. And while he killed 2 spines, we didn't lose either one. We canceled them. We are also killing his zealots. So, like, he's actually losing a zealot to kill my spines the first time. Well, kind of. Almost. And now his zealots are getting spread out. You want to fight them when they're spread out. This is not easy to do. It is very micro-based. It's something that takes a lot of practice. Also, again, the dude that I'm playing against in this game is GM caliber. So, you got to also take into account that he's also going to be playing pretty well. Like, he knows how to use units at a higher level if he's able to be GM. So the idea you want to go for is you want to spread zealots out and you want to kill them when they're isolated. You do not want to fight them when they're in a clump. And the only way you want to fight them when they're in a clump is with range, not with melee. I don't give a shit about fighting zealots in a clump when it's with queens. I do, however, care about fighting zealots in a clump when it's with drones and zerglings. I don't want to be fighting this shit with drones and lings when they're clumped up. Because all that's going to happen is zealots get better trades. But what I can do is I can spread his clump out if I pick at him with range units. Because if he just stands there and lets my queens just smack his zealots, queens actually fuck zealots up pretty decently. They will kill them over a decent amount of time. But then if he now, let's say he auto attacks forward and he comes for my queens. What if my queens go like this? They just spread out like that. They just go opposite directions, and now his zealots go like 3 this way, 2 this way, and all my lings go, okay, let's overpower the 2. And while the queen with 3 zealots that's chasing it just keeps running around in a circle, because you can run all fucking day from zealots. And the queen with 2 zealots on it just turns around and maybe even tanks it for a second, or just shoots at it with the lings hitting it now. So like, spreading the zealots out is huge. You want to spread them out. And then it's easy to deal with zealots once your spines are done, because you can force zealots to back up over and over and over with Spinecrawler or Leapfrog. So notice how I'm not engaging the clump of zealots until we have a fat amount of Zergling. And I run by. I'm making sure his rallies can't come forward. And now he comes back and chases my queens. And we still have more spines being made. And in the process of killing that spine crawler, guys, look how many zealots he lost again. He's got 5 zealots currently. He starts smacking the spine crawler. 1 zealot just died. 1 zealot just died. All 4 other zealots have taken shield damage. One of them is literally out of shields. The other one's almost out of shields. One of them's also almost out of shields. The other one's like half shields. So basically, a lot of these zealots are kind of peppered. A little bit of damage has been peppered into them. Damage has been done. It's not, they're not all dead yet, but he can't really heal this effectively if I'm still doing damage to him. Whereas I could transfuse my queens. I end up not doing it for some reason, but yeah. Like this queen micro was not good. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty bad. But now we've zoned out all of his reinforcements with our lings ran down here and pushed him all the way back to his gateways. And then our lings turned around and came back up because he's committing so deeply into our base again. And lings also run faster than zealots, even without zergling speed, as long as you're running on creep. Like lings run way fucking faster than zealots on creep. Even off creep they run faster than zealots, but on creep they run way faster without zergling speed. It's crazy. So I can easily come back here now because I've forced the zealots back to his gateway. He's not able to clump up a bunch of zealots, and I can overpower isolated zealots again. Again, the goal is to isolate them and kill them. So now we're killing another 3 zealots that are more isolated. And these other 2 zealots kind of just now arrive in the fight as all these zealots are dead. Which means we're going to now overpower these zealots that are kind of isolated. And now his next round of zealots that are coming up are going to get overpowered by my lings again. And I can also rotate my spines forward to the front of my creep. And I can start spreading this creep tumor to like to here, and then to there, and then to there, and then down, and down, and down, and down, etc., etc., etc. And meanwhile, I at this point, once I have control, and I'm able to really overpower zealots, I can then go back to droning. But isolating and killing zealots is what you got to do. And you got to figure out ways to do that with your spines and with your queens and so on and so on. I hope that makes sense. That game was, I'll say right now, that game was not the best example to give you. I'm not going to say that I'm super proud of that game where I'm like, that was perfect defense. That was a little bit sloppy at times, but he did a good job as well, fucking me over at certain points. But again, even if you make a couple mistakes here and there, the concept, the grand main concept is isolating and killing zealots. For sure. Alright, let's go back into the game and talk about the rest of your game now. Go up to like 6 minutes. And yo, Saboteur, thank you for playing, man. Thanks for playing, dude. I appreciate it. Is this WoW music? This is WoW music. This is the WoW music, okay? Alright. You did have the right, I will say this, the Plasmid, you did have the right idea to run by and kill the pylon once you had control of your base. with spines and queens and stuff, and you're making more lings still behind that, the correct move to do is to, if you run by his initial clump of zealots, you can not only kill isolated zealots as you get closer to his gateways, but you can also kill the pylon if he doesn't, if his pylon is exposed, and then as soon as the pylon's dead, whatever he has is it, right? So, yeah, it's super fucking solid. And now, okay, seeing this, seeing a natural and cannons and a Stargate, your reaction to this should 100% be, stop fucking mining gas. Plasmid, for the love of God, stop mining gas. You mine too much. Why do you need gas right now? All you need at this point is Zergling speed. You need to do two things right now. After this scout was amazing. Your scout was so good. I loved your scout. The scout was incredible. You got all the information that you need. You see, oh, Forge. Oh, cannons. Oh, Stargate. Oh, Nexus. He went Stargate before fucking expanding. That's such a bad economy for Protoss. All you have to do to beat this is make queens and make drones and hatcheries together. So you should be taking a natural like you are. You should right now as well be spending all of your larvae on drones, which you are. You should be making a queen, which you are not yet, which is okay. You'll eventually do it. And then you should also be taking a third base, literally. And you should also be taking possibly a fourth base. I'm not even kidding, dude. This is so non-threatening what the Protoss is doing right now, because he's starting a natural by the time his main is almost mining out. Like, this patch has 95 minerals in it, and he's starting a natural. His mining is going to suck ass, and he's also shown you he's going for cannons. He has no intentions of attacking you with like a big ass like zealot all in again or something like that. He has every intention of going for a turtled up Stargate style now. And if you just go crazy on economy and queens, he can't punish you because of queens. There's nothing he can do. There's literally nothing he can do with his current economy and Stargate if you just make queens. Nothing. You are 100% fine. And then on top of that, if you just make drones because you're making queens, all your larvae can go into overlords and drones. And because queens don't take larvae. So you could be rich as fuck on 3 or 4 bases while he turtles up on 2 bases. That is what should happen right now. And I guarantee he's going to make more cannons because he's leapfrogging cannons down to his low ground because he's worried about speedlings. Like, this guy's probably going to make like 6 cannons for his natural, I bet. This was good. This was good. This was a great use of your lings from earlier. Like, you still have them. This is great. You're gonna probably deny this Nexus. If this was an Oracle, you wouldn't deny it, but the fact that it was Phoenix means you did. That was good. That was really good. What's up, Vash? And now, just now, he's starting a Nexus again. And what are you doing as a response to this? You're getting a layer. And you're mining minerals like absolute shit. This should be 100% a mineral reaction only. Because it's Phoenix. And what are Phoenix going to do? They're going to fly around and try to pick overlords off. And they're going to try and pick drones up and kill them. If you have equal number of queen to Phoenix, you can just be like, hey, Phoenix. And bye, Phoenix. And that's being very generous to the Protoss. You should easily be able to have like double or like extra queens. Like at this point, if you were just prioritizing mineral only queen drone, you could have like 6 queens right now, easy, at 8 minutes. Like, you know, because you've been doing this now for a while, after the gateway proxy's been over. After you scouted as well.
Our army be scrapping.
I like that you're taking a third. I do not like this gas. I do not like this gas. Stop mining gas. Oh my god, Plasmid. No spores either. No. Oh no. See, you're falling into the classic mistake of you think that hydras are important right now when they're not. You know what's funny? Hydras actually defend Phoenix worse than queens do, and they cost the same supply. A Hydra and a Queen are the exact same supply, but a Hydra defends worse than a Hydra, or a Hydra defends worse than a Queen because Phoenix can pick off and insta-kill Hydras because they're light and they have less hit points. So if I have 5 Phoenix and I see 5 Queens or I see 5 Hydras, With 5 Phoenix, I look at 5 Hydras and go, yep, I'll kill that. And I look at 5 Queens and go, no, I don't want to fuck with that. Literally. Hydras are better and bigger numbers, for sure. But you would get to a bigger number faster if you prioritized economy more and then Hydras, rather than prioritizing gas after your economy has been fucked over to then rush Hydras out.
The minerals have up and
So
gone.
you're definitely fucking yourself over by making more static D and Hydras. Hasbin's back. Fuck yeah. What's up, Juan? I'm doing a replay analysis right now. What up, dude?
Our drones are under attack. Mineral field depleted.
And on top of that, he just killed like another probably like 4 drones right there, 5 drones with his Phoenix. So he's just coming in and getting out from that one spore. Imagine if there were more queens here.
Your forces
Like, I don't mind that you built 1 spore per base. I don't mind that so far. I honestly wouldn't even mind a spore every once in a while like this. And maybe a spore there or like a spore here and a here. I wouldn't mind that either if you prioritized your drones more. But the fact that you still are this close to Protoss and you denied his natural on top of that, like, this is really bad for Zerg. Like, you should have like 70 drones right now after what's just happened in this game, or like 60, 70 drones right now. And it's because you're mining so much gas on such a low economy. And now you're forcing yourself to build Hydras.
Our drones are in need of a hero.
Because you got to think about it like this too. If your opponent loses all of his gateways, and then your Overlord scouts him, and you see Forge, Core, Stargate, Cannon from earlier, you saw those buildings right there from earlier. And then on top of that, you're seeing him expanding. You should know that there's no way that this dude is going to do a fucking gateway timing. He doesn't even have a gateway at all anymore. Those gateways he had proxied allowed him to get a Stargate, or to get a Core to then build a Stargate. And he doesn't even have, or he does have these 2 gateways now. But up until he made these 2 gates, he didn't even have a gateway for the longest time. Like, I think you're paranoid about, like, you know, you're getting gas again because you're like, I don't know, I could die to another all-in. But he's showing you he's not going to all-in you again because he made cannons and a Nexus after he failed a proxy Zealot all-in, which is where all of his money went.
Raid room, queen, we evolve. Stuff got the minerals have up and gone.
And, lastly, even if he did do another gateway all-in, you would have been fine if you just made queens and you still have the spines. I'm not telling you to make more. You still had them. And then, you could, if you're like, oh shit, he's actually going to all-in me again with more gateways. And let's say you see him for whatever reason, like having like another 8 zealots and like 3 oracles or something like that instead of these Phoenix. You could then just start making lings then, because you also have speedlings already. Queen speedling could beat gateway all-in with bad economy. If you have good economy queenling, bad economy all-in loses to good economy queenling. Like, I think you're playing way too paranoid.
Our army be scrapping.
Alright, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I think we've been doing this for like over an hour already.
You made another queen. Nice. Raid room, queen. Evolution.
But again, your biggest problem is for sure
Mineral field depleted.
your resource usage.
Evolve.
You've put yourself in this like broke position for no reason. Because you prioritize the gas so hard. And you prioritize. You were still prioritizing. You were still prioritizing the gas during the proxy Zealot all-in, and you were still prioritizing the gas after you denied it, and then he went to cannons and Stargate. There's no reason to have prioritized the gas at any point out of all of that, other than to get speed.
Our drones are in need of a hero. We hope this
Like, this guy is just fucking your drones over as well repeatedly. And, like, he hasn't even killed that many, to be honest. He's killed 21. But your drone count is so bad. You have less drones. What you're doing is that classic mistake where you're putting yourself into an all-in. You're like, well, fuck it. I'm not going to really make an economy. Instead of making an economy and then making Hydras later, I am, because I'm going to go for a fast Hydra timing. And in your mind, I think you're thinking, fast Hydra timing, that's what I want to go for. But what's really happening is you're playing so paranoid and you're slowing yourself down so much that you're rushing hydras out and you're just sitting on like the low amounts of shit that you have. And when you're doing a timing, you're actually, if you were to do a timing at 13 minutes, if you would have prioritized economy when you saw the scout of this, you right now could be maxed out. I swear you could be maxed out right now. Even before this, you could have been maxed out. But because you stuck to gas for so long and you didn't make drones for so long and you made hydras really fast, your economy has been so garbage for such a long amount of time that this is now all in for you, because this could very easily fail. And all it takes is one time, and you're dead. I'm thinking if this guy gets carriers, I'm dead. You're playing way too paranoid. There's no reason to think that way. You should be thinking to yourself, like, what you should be thinking about is, oh my god, I'm not making economy when I should be. I'm so far behind because I'm not making economy. So make economy. Your economy is very bad. Just because he has carriers doesn't mean he wins the game. What makes him win the game is the fact that your economy sucks. And then your attacks are small. And you have no ability to remax your attacks. Look at the production. See what's happening right now? ViBE, tell them how you really feel. No, I'm being very blunt with Plasmid because I've done these for him before. I'm not going to sugarcoat your fucking replay analysis. I'm not going to be like, well done, nice attack, you killed the third. I'm going to be like, no, that sucked ass because you should have been maxed when you did that. And the game should be over now. But it's not over because the Zerg player is putting himself into an all-in, and even though it looks like the Zerg player is doing damage, the Zerg player could very easily lose this game if he allows the carrier count to grow. Because the Zerg player the Zerg player has map control and has had map control for the last like 10 minutes of this game. Ever since this scout happened, the Zerg player has had map control. Literally. And the Zerg player has chosen aggression over economy, which means that the Zerg player is going to possibly fall into the trap of repeatedly making hydras all day. And then the carrier count, if it does grow, it'll just start fucking wrecking hydras. All, like, repeatedly. Which is kind of getting there. And now what we're going to watch is going to be hydras walking across the map repeatedly and dying. Like, if this is Protoss player, this is what I think is going to happen. Protoss player retakes the third base. Zerg player continues to make nothing but hydras for the most part. The Zerg player then does an attack on the third base and dies. The third won't even die at this time. The whole Zerg army will die instead. And the third will stay, the third will stay alive. That's what I see happening.
The minerals have up and gone.
Now the Zerg player will counterattack the third base, or the natural again. And the Protoss player will kill the entire Zerg army. Because the Protoss player is getting it to a higher number of carrier.
The minerals have up and gone.
And carriers exponentially scale better than hydras do. So here's the third. I imagine Zerg army will completely die here.
The minerals have up and gone.
So, why is this happening? It's because the economy is not actually good for Zerg. 50 drones, 60 drones is shit. I need you to get to like 90, 85. And if you're really paranoid about a player going for carriers like this, and you're like, oh god, carriers. What you could do, honestly, is you could just make a Spire faster than this. And you could make Carapace Corruptors. Just get Carapace and get Corruptors. And just all you do is you make a bunch of Corruptors and you just go over there and you focus fire carrier. Focus fire carrier. Focus fire carrier. Focus fire carrier. If you have like 30 Corruptors with like level 1 or level 2 Carapace, you can easily beat a carrier. Like you can fuck carriers up pretty bad. And the more corruptors you have, the better. If you have like 50 corruptors with like level 2 carapace, you could beat like carriers with corruptor, or carriers versus carapace corruptor. Corruptor wins every time in equal supply trades. Like 100 supply of carriers would lose to 100 supply of corruptor with carapace upgrades. And stop mining fucking gas. Yes. This gas, dude, this gas fucked you over so bad. You know what it was? You know what this was like watching, Plasmid? It was like watching, I don't know. I was gonna give you like an analogy, but it didn't make any sense. Basically, it was like watching you do it very slowly. You could have gotten, you haven't even gotten there yet either. You could have gotten to a high economy 10 minutes ago. Dude, look at when you scouted his base. We're looking for 6 minutes here. I think your scout happened around 6 minutes when you saw Stargate reaction. Right, you see it right now. Stargate, cannon, natural. Like if you just reacted to this, if you just reacted to this with economy, what the fuck can the Protoss do? From this point right now, from 3 minutes or from 6 minutes and 50 seconds, okay, you could be at 80 drones, and also have like 10 queens by like 9 minutes. Seriously, like that's a very fair number to use here. By 9 minutes, you could be there with what you currently have. And let's look at what happens up until 9 minutes.
Forces are under attack.
You already had those lings. That was really good. You could have done that either way if you were making drones, because those lings were still alive from earlier. But at 9 minutes, what has happened at 9 minutes? The Protoss player showed up and he attacked a couple of your drones. This is the first time he did it at your natural. He came over here and he picked up some drones and killed some drones. But 9 minutes, you could be, honestly, at like 80 drones right now. This is like 3 minutes after. Or like 2.5. 2. And you could, if you just didn't mine gas and you just made drone, expand, drone. You just, because what do you have to be afraid of right now? Phoenix? Making the hydrogen, making the gases, mining the gases, making a layer, making more static D, all this shit, making a roach horn. It's all slowing you down so much. Super hard. And at 9 minutes, from 6:50 until 9 minutes, look at the drone count. We're going to look at that really fast. This is the last thing we'll look at. But 100% you lost this game because of your economy. So I gave you a kind of more of an understanding of about how to deal with zealot proxies. All you have to do is just isolate and kill. That's what your goal should be, is isolating zealots and killing them. Running around with queens, getting spines set up, getting lings set up. Don't have your lings fight the clump. Have lings instead fight isolation zealots. Have the queen spine deal with the clump and spread the clump out, or kill the clump off of your spines or off of your queens. Don't just fight the clump with circlings only, unless you have a way bigger number. Like if you have 12 lings versus 5 zealots, do not fight that. But if you have like 30 lings versus 5 zealots, sure, go ahead. That's fine. That's okay. But yeah, right now you have 26 drones at 650. 30 seconds has gone by. You have not made a drone yet. Or you haven't had a new drone spawn yet. You have actually lost a drone at 30 seconds. In a minute, finally you've made like 6 drones or so. But now we're at 9 minutes. And you went from 26 to... And from 650 to 9 minutes, you went from 26 to 36 drones. Like, that is unacceptable, how slow that is. And it's because, again, you're playing so fucking paranoid. And you don't have any reason to be paranoid because you saw everything he was capable of. Cannons and Stargate. Off of a bad economy. for him too. Alright, we'll speed it up back to the end. But now all that's going to happen is these carriers are not going to go uncontested because you don't have... The fact that you're low in supply means it's even worse. But let me tell you guys a story about carriers, okay? About how they scale. One carrier versus 3 Hydras. 3 Hydras, that's a kind of a questionable trade. The lower number here, equal supply but lower number, is actually scary for carrier because there's not enough just overwhelming amounts of DPS. But here's the thing that's different about Hydra versus carrier. Carrier DPS stacks a lot better than Hydra DPS stacks. Carrier DPS is insane at how it stacks, which is why it's exponentially better than Hydra. So if you have 3 Hydra per carrier, and now we're talking about you have like 9 Hydra versus 3 carrier, or you have fucking, I don't know, you have 10 carriers versus 30 Hydras. The more carriers you get, the scarier it is for Hydra, because Hydras are never going to be able to burst out all of the interceptors or just dive into the carriers and kill the carriers straight up fast enough. Because carriers actually are going to... It's just going to be overwhelming amounts of shit going on to the Hydra. And all the carriers can attack at the same time, whereas not all the Hydras can always attack at the same time. Some of the Hydras will be overlapping DPS and overkilling an interceptor, where it might only take 5 hits to kill an interceptor. But instead, 9 Hydras shot it. So it's wasted DPS. Carriers don't have that same rule. Carriers literally kill until the target is dead, and then they rotate to the next target, and they rotate to the next target. They don't waste DPS. So your Hydras are going to die at a more efficient rate, whereas your Hydras are going to kill shit at a less efficient rate the more you have, versus carrier, because they're projectile units. So the trade is going to go in favor of carrier the higher the supply goes. So equal supply or less supply Zerg is going to get shit on. So basically, if you wanted to fight with Hydra versus 10 carrier, we're not talking about you needing only like 30 Hydras and you're good to go, which is, let's see what you have right now. You have 9. You're super dead. You would need like 60, like seriously, like double it. Versus like 30, versus 10 carrier, 30 Hydras is the same supply. You would need like 60 Hydras, which is 120 supply. You would need to be like maxed right now for Hydras to win this fight. Or like at the bare minimum, maybe like 45 Hydras. Like a good supply chunk over what he has. You're never going to win off of a bad economy and having similar supply counts to the Protoss. And you're putting yourself in the situation by rushing the Hydras and then attacking really fast the Hydras. Because in your mind, you're thinking, like, and this is not just this Plasmid. A lot of players play like this, where they're like, oh yeah, Hydras are the best answer to carrier because I can get them fast and I can just kill it before it starts. Because if this happens, I just lose the game. This is honestly so... I'm going to let you know right now from a high-level Zerg's point of view. If I see a Protoss player make this army, I think this is easy as fuck to beat. I'm just like, really? Mass carrier. That's all you did. You didn't add in Archons. You didn't add in Templar. You didn't add in a Mothership. You didn't add in other things, an Oracle for Revelation to see where I am. It's just carriers. You don't have observers. I could abuse this with Neural Parasite. I could abuse this with Mass Corruptor. Either one of those would be a great answer to this. But Corruptor is the easiest one to go for because I could just go Mass Corruptor and then just focus fire carriers and I would just watch Corruptors just shit all over carriers. This is a terrible army. But the only reason why it's good is because the Zerg is repeatedly making small amounts of Hydras that are suiciding on it again and again and again and again. And here's the trick about Corruptor. If you go Corruptor as a very late response, you're like, oh shit, I'm going to go Corruptors at 18 minutes. And the carrier's already level 2 weapons. And he hasn't started level 3. The closer he gets to level 3 weapons, the more upgrades he has over you, the worse it is. Because if you have 0-0 Corruptor versus level 2 weapon carrier, Corruptors actually kind of suck versus carrier now. A little bit. It's not great. You need decent Carapace upgrades. You need it. You need it. But yeah, your scouting was good. Your lings were good when you denied that Nexus. That was amazing. That was the best part of this game for you. You shut down the Nexus, and you also scouted his cannons in Stargate. That was after the proxy. That was fucking amazing. That was high level. That was your best part of this game. Those two moves were they both gave you the tools to get super far ahead. You just didn't use them properly. Instead, you then played paranoid and played low eco all game, when you could have played queen heavy with drone heavy style, because that would have shut down everything that's capable of what he could do, and you would have easily won if you had done that. So that was like the key moment in the game where you could have won, but you threw it away. And then if you would have dealt with the early proxy gate a little bit better, that could have also helped you get into a more advantageous position faster too. But we talked about that already too, so we don't need to go back into that. But yeah, that's huge as well. I hope this helps you though, Plasmid. Zerg players out there in general, I hope this helps any of you. I do... Yeah. Never mind. I don't know. Good shit. Plasmid, thank you very much for submitting a replay analysis. I know I get passionate when I talk about these. I'm not mad. No one think I'm mad. No one really said I'm mad. I hope no one thinks I'm mad. Also, I don't think I'm being unfair to Plasmid. I think the more blunt you are about giving information about how to get better, the faster the person receiving that information can get better. And like I said before, I've done many of these with Plasmid before, so I hope this helps. Either way, I hope it helps. But Plasmid, lots of potential. Just if you played a little bit, here's the thing. If you just played greedier, what you did would have crushed the Protoss. That timing you did the first time at 13 minutes when you hit him with Hydras here, if you would have played greedier and then did that at the same... If you would have played greedier and then did a 13-minute Hydra timing, you would have been able to do the same Hydra timing that you did, but just have like 3 times as many Hydras. Not even exaggerating, you could have been maxed out. 100% you could have been maxed out right there. And you were not maxed out when you did it. You were only at like 110 supply or some shit. But yeah. Much love, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Until next time, good luck in your ladder games. Peace, guys. Goodbye.